Me Time and Murder is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh, well, big surprise.
Trez, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a nice lemon and ginger tea. It's just the Aldi own brand one, but it's pretty good.
Jaren got me this lovely grapefruit infusion tea from Marks and Spencer's. He got it for me for Christmas. Okay, and what about your beauty pampering?
I'm going to put on a little Garnier Moisture Balm face mask. It was given to me by my best friend. She gave me 3. I'm going to use the lavender one today, and she's one of our earliest listeners. So shout out. Thank you for these. They're so lovely. And I have been putting them in my little, God, what would you call it? Mini fridge that you got me for Christmas. So they're like
God, I
super
forgot.
cold. Yeah.
I forgot I bought that for you.
I know. You probably bought it ages ago. Yeah. And so they're really nice and cold, which will just be extra depuffing. And I think this one is for tired skin. It's like their kind of moisture balm. It's like the hyaluronic acid, but this one has lavender, which I've never used before. I'm really excited about that.
How is the mini fridge?
It's really good. It actually holds quite a lot. Sort of deceiving, like you think it wouldn't hold that much, but it does. So it's working out pretty good.
And
I think Dan's
where
jealous.
have you got it kept? Dan is jealous?
Yeah, he's like, I want a mini fridge. Because you can put like your drinks in it as well, just like have a wee cold drink. It's just in my office, so I pretty much don't have to leave this room now. It's great. So yeah.
Sweet.
What are you doing today for your me time?
I've got some coconut oil in my hair. I'll have to wash it out after, and my hair will be nice and shiny, ready for work tomorrow. And I'll smell like coconuts.
Oh, nice.
So today we're going to talk about the Suffolk Strangler.
I don't think I know a lot about this person.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot about him either. I knew of him, and it is our first listener request. Green Man 1991, he left us a review on Apple Podcast.
Oh, nice.
Saying he loved the podcast, yeah. And he wanted us to do the Suffolk Strangler.
Okay.
Because I think he thinks it'll be interesting. Maybe he's from Ipswich, I'm not too sure. So, do you know anything about the Suffolk Strangler?
No. He strangled people.
He definitely strangled people. Okay. So I'm going to start this episode. It's basically going to be from the victim's perspective. Like
scary.
all of like the articles and documentaries I watched, they all started from the victim's perspective.
Okay. I'm curious now if it's their perspective. Did any of them survive or like to be interviewed or? Okay.
No.
This is just I suppose they just piece this together from the evidences. This is what happened.
So I think it's good to start to do some cases from the victim's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, they were all sex workers, but also I think that one of the reasons why a lot of people when they cover a lot of content when they cover the Suffolk Strangler is because we don't know a lot about his life. He doesn't give interviews. He denied everything.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And so if they don't talk about why they did it, or they don't talk about their life, they don't talk about their childhood, there's not really much to go off.
But I tell you what, I find that very creepy. When someone doesn't want to talk, it's like, what is going on in that head?
Yeah.
It's just creepier to me.
It is creepy. And it's also quite frustrating because it's like...
It is. It's frustrating and it's kind of selfish because the police and people like to have that information so that we can, find the next weirdo. But if you're just keeping it all in, then it's almost like not a waste, but you know what I'm saying?
It's sort of like a real fuck you.
Yeah.
It's really there's no remorse at all. Because it's the littlest thing that you can do is to allow for the police and psychologists to understand what you think and how to avoid these things and how to pick up on people like you. And he's like, nah, I don't care.
Real asshole right to the end.
So this story today, it begins in Ipswich around the winter of like 2006. And during this time, there was an increase in drug use and addiction, which had in turn led to an increase in women, like resorting to sex work.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time,
I just wonder how these spikes in drug use happen. I mean, is it affected by, is there underemployment going on?
mm,
Like, I just wonder why there would be a spike in drug use. There has to be some economic or social reason, to get
mhm.
wider reason for that.
I wonder, that's a good
It's
point. Like, do
curious.
you think just drug lords, drug people are just like, Ipswich has a low drug use.
Oh, they're targeting them. Yeah,
Let's
okay.
start selling in Ipswich. Do you think it's something like that?
Yeah, or some new guys come to town and yeah, he wants to tap into. Yeah, it's just like drugs become more available in a certain area, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. So with increase in drug use, usually to support a habit, people will resort to sex work.
Yeah.
There was an estimate of over 100 sex workers in Ipswich at the time.
That
And I
doesn't
don't
seem
know
like
if
a lot.
it doesn't feel like a lot.
Well, how big is
I don't
Ipswich?
know. Ipswich, I think it's meant to be a lot.
I have no perception of what a lot of
No,
sex workers are. Like, if you were to
I
tell
have
me
no
how
idea.
many are in Cork.
On the 2nd of December 2006, a member of the public discovered what he thought was a mannequin in Belstead Brook, a river in Suffolk. But on further inspection of this mannequin, it of course turned out to not be a mannequin, but the naked body of a young woman,
Oh,
a
God.
25-year-old Gemma Adams.
Why do they always have to be naked? It's awful. So many cases, people always automatically jump to mannequin.
Why did they jump to
What is that all
mannequin?
about? You don't see mannequins lying about.
Right?
That's not a thing. And I've
I've
always
never seen a mannequin
never,
like
I've always
outside of a shop.
questioned it as well. Like, if I seen a dead body, touch wood, hopefully never ever. But oh, sorry, I have obviously, but at funerals. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think my head would go there. My head would immediately go to murder. You know, like it just
That's
would.
because we are into true crime.
Must
We
be
would see a shoe on the pavement, a random shoe.
murder.
Murder, murder,
Or a handbag, definitely murder.
murder. That woman has been kidnapped.
Totally. We
Yeah.
must like trace her back. But like, what a sheltered little guy that thinks it's a manic. I don't know, you know?
Oh, you don't. Well, some people don't jump to the worst
I
conclusions.
know. Wouldn't that be lovely?
Poor Gemma had disappeared on the 15th of November.
What year are we in, sorry?
About, sorry, we're in 2006.
Okay, you said that. Sorry. Okay, okay.
So she had disappeared about 2 weeks ago. Gemma was from a middle class family, but unfortunately, as a teenager, she began experimenting with drugs, which
Okay.
escalated into an addiction to heroin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm.
Intense.
So she began supplementing her income with sex work. Totally unbeknownst to her family, her partner was also a heroin addict, and Gemma had lost her job because of her lifestyle habits. And her family was completely unaware that she was on heroin and a sex worker.
Yeah, that would be a lot to take in if you didn't know any of that, wouldn't it?
You know
God, you would
what? Can
feel
you
so.
imagine if you were a parent and your daughter, your 25-year-old daughter, just turns up naked, dead and
And that's how
naked
you
in a
find out.
in a river.
Yeah.
Oh, she's been on heroin and selling sex.
Yeah, that is a lot to take in. Oh my God.
Devastating.
25. Oh my God, it's awful.
Hmm.
And when you have a partner who's using as well, that's a very vicious cycle to get out of,
Hmm. Only 6 days later, on the 8th of December, 19-year-old Tanya Nichols, her body was also discovered in a different body of water.
Hmm.
Tanya was actually a friend of Gemma Adams, the
No.
first the first lady, the first woman.
Uh-huh.
Tanya had been missing since October 30th. So she
Oh.
had been missing for over a month
Wow.
when she was found. Tanya had left home at 16, deciding to live in a hostel. It sounds like she had like a rough upbringing,
Okay.
and she found herself also working as a sex worker to fund her addiction to heroin and cocaine.
Oh no, she's got two on the go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
so
she's 16.
expensive.
She was 16 when she was addicted to
16?
heroin and cocaine.
How do you get to cocaine and heroin when you're 16? Aren't there lots of in-between drugs? Like, how do you get there so fast?
Girl,
I
wow. It's
guess once
crazy.
someone shoots you up, that's it. They got you.
I believe that's how it works.
I believe it too, but then I always wonder, is it really, once you have it once, is that really it? You're addicted? I don't think for coke, but I think for heroin, that
I
could be
think for
true.
heroin,
Yeah,
yes. Yes.
don't do heroin.
Don't do heroin. Oh, so many of our stories include heroin.
Heroin is ridiculous. It's
Hmm.
the worst of the worst. I'm really scared of it. I know I'm never
Yeah.
going to come into contact with it, but it just freaks me out so much what it does to people.
I remember whenever we were kids, we would say, I'll try anything once. I'll try heroin. On my deathbed, I'm going to try heroin. And it's just
What
like...
doctor's going to give you that? I'll sort you out. I'll arrange that for you, Miriam. Don't you worry.
Oh, great.
But then it's like, she wasn't going to die. And then it's like, no. And then you're like addicted. And then I like have
Actually,
to get
she's
you off
going to
that.
live. Like, God damn it.
We should not be laughing about this. This is awful.
Tres, she only broke her leg. Why are you giving her heroin?
It was, what do they call it whenever a mercy killing or what? It's like, she's fine. Oh dear.
Mercy killing. What, suffocating me with a
I'm
pillow?
just like injecting you with it. No, this is too far.
Okay. Anyway, but okay. Get the right tone.
Yeah. Okay. I still have a smile on my face. Okay.
Me too. God
I
damn
have a
it.
smile on my face thinking about killing you. Ooh. Ooh. Okay.
Tanya. She had been previously fired from massage parlors under the suspicion that she was using drugs. So she had also lost her jobs.
Okay.
Tanya's mum was also completely unaware of her young daughter's life and was under the impression that Tanya was working in a bar.
Oh, that's crazy close. Although I wonder, did she die before Gemma? Because she was missing before Gemma.
Yes, she was missing on the 30th.
Maybe they just found them in that order.
Yeah, I'm reading it in the order that they were found.
The find. Yeah.
2 days later, on the 10th of December, a third victim was found by a different member of the public. This time, the body was found in a forested area, so like the woods. She was later identified as 24-year-old Anneli Alderton. Anneli was found naked and posed in a crucifixion form.
Oh my lord.
Mm-hmm.
Weird that there's no body of water in this one, but yeah, there's this crucifixion, which is new. Can you imagine 3 girls in 6 days? This is crazy.
Yeah, like
if you were the police, you'd be freaking out. Like, this does not happen.
This is so different to other serial killers where they do it. This is, what do they call, a spree killer? It's like
yes. Yeah, it would be spree because it's so, look how close they are together.
Like a lot of serial killers, like the organized serial killers, they kill and then they kill like maybe like a year later, and it's the spaces between get smaller. But this guy is just going crazy. Anneli was also found that she was 3 months pregnant.
Oh God, that's so sad.
Anneli became addicted to drugs whenever she was 16, shortly after dealing with her father's death from lung cancer in 1998.
This is so sad.
After her father's death, Anneli went on to be a mother of one and actually lived in Essex.
Okay.
And there is video footage of Anneli using the train to get from Essex to Ipswich to begin her sex work. So she didn't do sex work in Essex, probably
yes, I
because
believe that's quite common to go to the next town or the
I'd
next
say so.
county
I'd say
or wherever.
so. Just like the other 2 victims, Anneli was also strangled to death. With 3 bodies in just 8 days, the police made a public announcement. They were like, oh my God, there's a serial killer. So they made a public announcement that all women were to stay away from Ipswich's red light district.
Okay.
Then, just 2 days later, on the 12th of December, 2 more bodies were found.
Oh, 2 more bodies. So we've got 5 bodies in 8 days?
We've got Gemma, Tanya, and Nellie, and 2 more, so we've got 5.
Wow.
The 4th victim was 24-year-old Paula Clennell, who had been missing since the 10th of December. She too had been strangled to death. And just like Anneli, Paula was strangled to death, then disposed of naked.
Wow.
Prior to her death, Paula said to a friend that she was a bit weary about getting into cars because of the recent murders all over the news.
God, could you imagine how scared you'd
I
be?
know. So there's like been the police have made an announcement that basically the sex workers shouldn't go to work
Mm-hmm.
because there's a guy targeting them.
Yeah. And so Paula, who ended up becoming a victim, was reluctant and hesitant, but yeah.
She said she needed the money
God,
and went anyway.
that's
So
so sad.
yeah. Paula was a mother of 3. Unfortunately, all of her children had been taken into care and adopted due to her really bad drug addiction.
Oh, at least they were adopted, though. That's nice that they're with a family.
Paula herself had spent time in and out of childhood like foster homes and
Oh,
orphanages. I don't think we really have orphanages anymore, but
I'm
sort
not
of
clear
like
on that too. Yeah, I don't think we do.
orphanages aren't good, but maybe like homes
Yeah,
like group homes for children sort of
but
thing.
I'd say they're always looking to place them with a family. I wouldn't
Yes.
the way orphanages were in the past, where they basically lived there properly. Like, oh
Yeah,
God.
they don't really exist anymore. And it was shortly after being placed there that she started taking drugs. The fifth victim was found on the 12th of December was 29-year-old Annette Nichols, who had been missing since the 8th of December. Annette was also found naked and, like Anneli, was also posed in a crucifixion position.
Weird.
Annette was also a mother of 1 from Ipswich. Her family reported her missing after they grew concerned at the news of all the other murders and the fact that she had she had not came home.
Mm-hmm.
Annette had also been struggling with drug addiction, working in the sex trade to support herself. She had recently moved into a housing association and asked her mum to look after her son. So it seems like she was aware that she was not coping
Mm-hmm.
and she couldn't be a fit parent, which is,
Mm-hmm.
it's very responsible to recognize that.
Yeah, it's the best thing to do. Yeah.
Paula and Annette were found in Nacton, an area very close to the forested area where Anneli had been found. So the serial killer has went from strangling and killing and dumping these women from the water to the forest.
Yeah, strange move. And this whole crucifixion business, I mean, are they just kind of laid out on the ground in that position? Do you know? Or.
From what I read, I seen that the suspect was cleaning the bodies, like,
Mm-hmm.
and taking their clothes away on purpose.
But like the crucifixion, they're not hanging from a cross.
No, they're on the ground and
Yeah, they're
just
just
they have
posed with
been
the arms out.
posed. Yeah, because it's
Okay.
a non-natural way. If you're to drop somebody down, they wouldn't
Oh
naturally
yeah,
fall
he's
like that.
posed them. Yeah, it's just,
They're definitely
yeah, I
posed.
wonder what's going through his creepy little head there.
A member of the public had noticed Annette's body lying just 6 meters away from the main road in the forest. So, like, either he was driving by or he pulled over and he
Mm-hmm.
got out of the car and he could see just right in at the forest that there was a body in there. So he calls the police and the police get a helicopter. The helicopter was dispatched to the scene. And as they are flying to the scene of the body,
Mm-hmm.
that's when they spot Paula's body. So they
Oh
just
my
seen it.
God, that's why the
Yeah.
two were found in the one day.
Yeah.
Madness. I got really excited there, and I thought you were going to say they seen him fleeing from the scene. I was like, yes,
They got him.
because he had a
No.
bird's eye view. Yeah, but
This
I'd
is
say she was probably
not
there a while.
this is not Prison Break, unfortunately.
Ah, love that.
That's a good show. So the Suffolk police immediately linked all of the killings. They knew they had a serial killer on their hand. And
Mm-hmm.
so a murder investigation was launched immediately. The detective knew that the bodies' locations were not the murder scenes.
Mm-hmm.
They knew that the murders were committed elsewhere and the women's bodies had been dumped.
Must be so frustrating, because then how do you find the murder scene? How frustrating is that?
Yeah, I believe
right?
they would have used like
That's so much
they would have had
harder.
these like fibers and stuff, and all that
Yeah, but
stuff
then
isn't
like
very reliable anymore.
are they not?
Well, like it's very, very circumstantial evidence
I know what you
to
mean.
go
It's
off
not hard. I
fibers
know.
from a car.
Yeah, it just makes it so much harder.
A few handbags and coats had been recovered from the scene and had to be tested to see if the DNA matched the victims.
Why did he leave them there? What an idiot.
Yeah, that's really
Is he trying to
bad
taunt
thinking.
them or what? Or
I don't know.
messy, sloppy.
Sloppy work.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. This is very frustrating. You want to know why
Yeah,
were they?
why did he leave the handbag? Go to all the
Yeah.
effort of, let's say he obviously had to get in some sort of car, go to the
Mhm.
forest and take her out and undress, all
Mhm.
that effort, and then like leave a handbag? What? What?
Mhm.
What's that all about?
Yeah, left the handbag and like the bodies and why did you go from water to the forest? Why were
Mm-hmm.
you so lazy and only went 6 feet, but the other girl was
Mm-hmm.
much more further
Yeah,
into
a
the
lot of
forest?
questions there, yeah.
It's very frustrating, but he doesn't answer. He doesn't give us
Oh,
any
dear.
answers. Like, we don't even know where he committed the crimes. Was it in his car or did he bring them home? Was it in a hotel?
Yeah.
So basically, in order to catch this person, they knew that all of these women, they were sex workers. They were known sex workers in the red light district.
Mm-hmm.
So the police, they just went to the red light district and started like pulling over men who were picking up sex
Mm-hmm.
workers.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what the police, were doing, and also obviously they were taking calls and tips from the public as well.
Mm-hmm.
On the 18th of December, this is all happening so quickly. We started on the 6th of December.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like 2 weeks later. On the 18th of December 2006, Suffolk arrested a 37-year man on suspicion of murdering all 5 women. The courts allowed police to hold him for a maximum of 96 hours. The next day, on the 19th of December, police arrested a second suspect at a residence in Ipswich on suspicion of committing one murder. The courts gave police 36 hours to question the second suspect in detention. So the first suspect, because they thought he had 5, he was
Mm-hmm.
like
Given
linked to all
longer.
5 women.
Mm-hmm.
He had picked up all 5 women.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, we believe it's this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But by the end of the 36 hours, the prosecutor announced that they were charging the second suspect with all 5 murders.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen.
The second suspect was Stephen Wright. The first suspect was released, and I just made a note. How scary for that guy.
Yeah, dude, he nearly went down for it.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Like,
I wonder why they suspected him.
because he was using the sex workers?
But is that literally the only thing?
I think so.
Right? They want to be getting up to some shifty stuff. I don't know.
Hmm.
They'd want to have more to go on than just you picked up a sex worker, because so many people do that.
I know, right?
Like, yeah, I suppose he didn't do it.
So I was telling my friend about the Suffolk that I was doing the Suffolk Strangler.
Mm-hmm.
And he is actually, my friend is from Ipswich.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that he kind of knew the guy, the first suspect.
Stop it.
Yeah. Apparently he's like, he works, at least he used to, like at the time, was working in the local Tesco.
No way. But like for him to have been suspected of all 5, what was it that made them, So I don't know.
I think that the police were watching the area to see, like they were noting down the cars, like
Yeah,
who
maybe he
was
frequented a lot.
most
Like a lot.
frequenting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And maybe he visited particular brothels. Are brothels even still a thing? I'm sure they are. But,
I think there were
if
brothels,
he
yeah.
frequented particular ones where these girls maybe were associated with them, that would be a red flag, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
God, he must be
So
kicking himself.
can you imagine?
Wish I didn't
Oh.
go so many times. Dude, oh my god. But I suppose you never think that's going to happen. Sure you don't. But I mean, if there's a killer targeting these sex workers, I think it would put
Mhm.
me off going. If I was
I
someone
wouldn't
who,
go.
because you could get mixed up in it all, and that's what happened to him. So
Yeah.
probably should have took a break.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about Stephen Wright. Stephen
Okay.
Wright was born April 24th, 1958. So he seemed to have a kind of unstable, like upper class family.
Okay.
He was one of four children. His dad was a military policeman, and his mom was a veterinary nurse.
Okay. Nice job.
Yeah, they both have good jobs.
I wonder, was the dad tough on him?
Well, he is military. He might have been tough.
That's a stereotype, obviously, but
It
like
is a stereotype.
I'm just wondering.
For a while, his family was stationed in Malta and then Singapore.
Oh,
So,
very nice.
although although that's nice and fun, it can be quite unstable for
Unstable for
children.
you, yeah. Was he an only child?
No, he had three brothers and sisters.
Oh, okay. No offense to all the only children out there, but it's always suspicious. It's like a lot of these people are like only child.
In the 60s, Stephen is quite young. He's maybe not even 10 years old when his parents get divorced and they both remarry.
Okay.
Like, this is what I mean. It's like, I wouldn't really say that he had an unstable. I mean, like,
Very similar to a lot of people's childhood,
this is
and
a very
the
normal
other thing
childhood.
is it's never an excuse anyway. So
It's
a
true.
lot of people
It's
have
true.
friggin' horrendous childhoods and they go on to
Yeah.
do great things.
I mean, it's just a divorce,
Yeah.
and you moved around whenever you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to live with his father, who then fathered two more children with his new wife.
Okay.
Some people say, some articles I read said he was not up for this, and Stephen
Okay.
didn't like his new stepmom. And it's
Right.
like, and what? So
Yeah.
what?
Like I would feel bad for him generally, but because of what he did, I don't really care. Like I'd say it is rough having to start with a new family and everything, but like she could be
Yeah.
lovely. You
Yeah.
never know. Like
In an interview with The Guardian, Stephen's father says that his ex-wife, like Stephen's mom, abandoned them, leaving Stephen to feel like he was always searching for a mother figure. However, Stephen's mother, she denies this claim, and she said that she was forced to leave, like she had to flee the family because it was starting to grow violent. It was becoming violent, and she
okay.
wanted to take the children with her when she fled, but she was afraid the father would stop her from taking them, so she just left.
Okay.
And it's basically he said,
Yeah.
she
Who
said.
knows? Like
But to me, nothing really screams serial killer, serial
no,
rapist, serial killer.
no.
No, no,
I mean,
no.
the abandoned by the mother. What age would he have been? Sorry, at that.
About 10. Like, it is
Eh,
young.
it's hard to know. It is a rough age because I feel like you can remember some things all right. I don't. Yeah, I don't know a lot about how that would affect a child, but
So Stephen dropped out of school at 16 with zero qualifications. He then worked as a waiter for 2 years. Then in 1974, when he was about 18, he joined the Navy. And this is where he was first introduced to sex workers.
the good old Navy. Why did they love it so much? It's because they're at sea.
What is that all about? Why is that
I think
stereotype
it's like
there?
such a thing because they're like literally floating in water. There's just never a chance because they can't escape. Whereas like, do you get what I'm saying? If you're on land, you can visit the nearest town or whatever. So I think like
I
when
suppose.
they dock, they just go bananas. I guess because it's like, when are we going to get it again?
And I mean, like, the saying of he has a woman in every port is like, related to that, like sailors and
I
stuff. Like, you could say
assume
that
it
about
is.
any guy, but it comes from that.
I think so. Yeah.
So, and this visiting the sex workers, this is a habit he would continue throughout his whole life. Like,
Wow.
it's
Wonder
like,
does that
whoa.
get expensive? Do you know what I mean? It's like an extra bill. Like
A
I
few
guess
years
some people
later,
just really like it. Anyway,
huh?
sorry. I
Sorry.
don't know. I just guess some people just really like it.
A few years later, Stephen married. And
What?
yes, I know, he got married. This is so
Oh, he wants some of
crazy.
that free sex.
And a few years later, they had a child.
Oh my god, no, this is the
A
worst. This
few
poor
years
woman.
later, they divorced.
Thank God she got away from him. Oh, could you imagine if you were her and you find out? Oh god.
I know that
And
your
having a
ex
child, I
husband.
think the child is the worst part. It's like, oh, I had a child with that person.
I know, or like the
Oh,
child. Hopefully, the child doesn't know. But like, oh my, that's my dad. That'd
I
be
know how
awful.
you would want to try to keep that from them. Yeah. Oh God.
Actually, he'd be like around our age.
Oh God, really?
His child, yeah. After leaving the Navy, Stephen worked as a steward on an ocean liner for a few years, and this is where he met his second wife.
Oh my God, this guy gets to have two wives.
A few years later, they got married, and they got married because they wanted to run a business together, and for some reason, they had to be married for this. I don't know, it's very confusing. So, Stephen and his new wife, they managed a pub together in the red light district where I think this is where he
Stop.
became very, very much a frequenter.
And like, what was his business? Do you
A
know?
pub.
Oh, a pub. Okay.
They
Okay.
managed a pub, yeah.
Do you think he just wanted to be super close by?
Oh yeah.
God.
This pub that he ran as well, it was a meeting point for many of like the local sex workers. So he like knew them all.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So when they find out who it is, I bet you they're all freaking out. Like, we know him.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Crazy. That was so. Like, he was like kind of like hiding in plain sight almost, you know, like amongst them.
Yeah,
Oh, so
right.
creepy.
And then a few years later, he got divorced from his second wife.
Run, you girl, yeah.
A year after that, Stephen began another relationship with one of the bartenders.
Okay.
And then they went on to manage another bar together until she fell pregnant. But
No.
this relationship didn't last either because they split before the daughter's first birthday in 1992.
So yeah, that's 92. How does he wait so long until 2016 till he starts doing all this crazy shit?
2006.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was 16.
No, no, no. We're
You can
only
cut that out.
yes, we're only 14 years away. I can
I
cut
asked
that
you the
out.
date. I even asked you the date.
2006.
I could have swore you said 2016. Anyway.
So you can see that he has like got real problems with his relationships with women.
Yeah, he can't hold on
He
to a
can't hold
good
on to
woman.
like a single relationship, and there doesn't seem to be much about like I couldn't find anything about if he was like abusive or but no, I don't
Yeah.
like no, I take that back because there is interviews and they said that he was super quiet and wouldn't hurt a fly.
Well, you see, he wants to keep this under wraps, so he doesn't want to do anything that would draw attention, you know?
Yeah, you're
So,
right. So around the same time, he got fired from his job managing the pub because of his excessive drinking and gambling.
okay. Just an all round great guy.
He's just a big loser. Throughout his life, Stephen worked as a dockyard worker, a steward on the ocean liner, and then a lorry driver, then a bartender, and then a forklift lift driver. So he can't hold on
Mm,
to like a steady job.
hmm.
And a lot of these things aren't like similar.
No, they're very different.
Like they're actually like all over the place. It's like
It's
you don't
similar to
really
Fred
seem
West. Oh God, Mary, I'm so
released
hungry
that.
and tired. I can't think of words. We haven't released that yet. But yeah, do you
This
remember
will
he
come
was like,
after. This will come after.
I know it will, but I'm just telling you, like he was like an ice cream driver and all this weird shit. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, at one point, his mother, who was living in America at the time, flew out to visit Stephen. But apparently, he flew off the handle in a drunken rage and left horrible messages filled with curses on her phone. I think
Okay.
she was trying to like reconcile and rebuild a
Yes.
relationship,
Yeah.
and it was too late. Gone.
She came all the way from America for that.
Mm-hmm.
For
In an
him to
interview with
act
the
like a big
Guardian,
baby.
She said, "If he could say those terrible, horrible things to me, he obviously didn't want anything to do with me."
God, I'd love to
So,
know what he said.
yeah, it didn't say in the article.
Must have been bad.
It seems that his life was slowly but surely becoming more and more reckless as the years went on. His heavy drinking led him to lose jobs, and he built up huge, huge gambling debts. He had to declare bankruptcy, and he tried to end his own life twice.
Yeah, I don't really care because of what he did. Normally,
I know.
obviously, I'd be super
Mm-hmm.
sympathetic. But
Mm-hmm.
do you know what? If he had
Mm-hmm.
went through with it, all those girls would have lived.
That's right.
Or better scenario, he gets
Mm-hmm.
help if you are suicidal, you obviously need professional help. Someone addresses his issues, and no one has to die. But a lot of men, not to come down too hard on men, but a lot of men, they don't want to seek help. They don't want to, there's a real problem with that. But this guy's probably a narcissist anyway. I don't think he would even
Think he
wanted
needs
help.
help.
Like, yeah.
His first attempt was with carbon monoxide poisoning, and he actually sort of left a suicide note. He sent his ex-girlfriend and the mother of his daughter a note saying that he had lost everything and didn't want to be a part-time dad. So it sounds like he felt, pretty shit. He felt like he was a shit dad, which I'm sure he was or is. His second suicide attempt was in 2000. Uh, after he went to Thailand for 10 days. And then he came back saying that he had sold off all of his possessions to fund this trip to enjoy the service of some exotic sex workers, but had to return to England after a girl scammed him out of everything.
Legend.
Right?
Sorry. But anyone who's going to Thailand for sex, I'm judging you majorly. A lot of those types of countries have like very underage girls. So I'm judging you a lot.
And so he tried to kill himself with a bunch of pills. And apparently she like did an interview with another article. I'm not going to talk about it, but claiming that they got married in Thailand and like she wanted to like come to England or something like this. Yeah.
Huh.
Then in 2001, he had a new girlfriend and
Oh my God.
I know.
This is exhausting.
He just needs to stay away from women. In 2001, he moved in with his new girlfriend of a few years, but according to him, the first 6 months were really great until she started to work night shifts at a call center. He said that their sex was basically non-existent.
Boo-hoo.
So he had
She's
to
working
start.
nights. She's tired.
He was living in the red light district when he upped his visits. Apparently, he would visit Cleopatra's and Oasis after golfing on Saturdays.
Did not think that fit in with his profile, but okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming either. There is a few interviews with other people who talk about him, and I think that's why they thought it couldn't have been him, because all he did was talk about golf,
which is such a kind of gentle sport,
right?
It's like the most gentle sport, and it's like kind of, you think of like granddads,
boring and slow.
But then there was Tiger Woods. He didn't kill anyone, obviously. He just he had a wee thing for sex workers as well. But sure, a lot of men do.
Just don't kill.
Just don't kill. Thanks very much. Yeah,
that's like the one rule. Well, it's not the one rule, but it's the golden rule.
It's like yeah.
So he would visit Cleopatra's and Oasis after golf on Saturday, or when he got the urge.
Lovely.
But by October 2006, so we're up to date with the timeline. He had discovered that he could buy sex for as little as $20. Oh, I'm in Hong Kong.
You don't know where you are.
Where am I?
We're not in Kansas anymore.
He could buy sex for as little as £20 from the drug-addicted and vulnerable women on the streets near his home.
I mean, that's absolutely disgusting. But like, what a moron that he's only figuring that out. Sorry now, but that's like LOL. Like he is like obsessed with sex workers. He's only realizing that now.
Yeah, that he could get it cheap.
Because like brothels are like basically businesses. They're set up. Yeah. They're like, it's going to be more expensive. I don't know.
I can't believe it's that cheap.
See, like if people are addicted to drugs, they really would do anything.
I know, it's really sad.
It's absolutely awful. And then the other thing is, I suppose they're cheaper because there's no one really regulating them. You know, the brothels would be, I would understand that they would be checking the girls, you know, for STIs and things like that. And like, it kind of more of a business. Whereas if you're on the street on your own, there's no regulation, or there's no, you know, so like it's going to be cheaper as well for that.
Yeah, the brothel has got like, you know, bathrooms and a bed and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's got all that overhead like to make it more expensive.
There's more amenities and there's more structure, whereas
12 sex workers had serviced him in October, November and December 2006, which is when the bodies had started to turn up, because around this time, Stephen was bankrupt.
Okay.
When Stephen was arrested, his girlfriend protested his innocence on television, while his friends and neighbours described him as a quiet, shy, and immaculately turned out in a polo shirt and trousers, jeans. He was a gentle man. It's like, this is how they describe him.
Just because someone dresses nice. Oh my god.
So I guess because Stephen was broke, it was cheaper for him to kill and dispose of these women rather than pay.
What an arsehole.
Yeah,
20 quid. Oh my
20
god.
quid.
Get over it.
Or just wait for your partner to come home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Or just, give yourself a tug in the shower.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to ask yourself, like, why has this guy got that urge so much? Oh my god. It's a sex addiction is the problem. Again, he needs help. Like, this is not normal.
During the trial, he said he was a fan of prostitutes and had sex with all 5 victims, but didn't murder them. However, the DNA evidence found on the 5 women quickly disproved that, as well as the fibre evidence.
Okay,
Wright was found guilty of all 5 murders on the 21st of February 2008 and was sentenced to life imprisonment,
good.
with the judge adding that life must mean life. Infuriatingly, Wright's motivations for the murders have never been revealed.
Weird.
And when interviewed, he only ever replies, no comment.
Oh my god.
We can't really get into his head and his feelings because he
Mm-hmm.
refuses to talk about it.
Yeah, something sparked him anyway. You know, because he was going for so many years without. So I suppose it's like you said, it was just that he couldn't pay anymore. But it's like, well, then just stop.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe his addiction was that bad that he. Would you really
Mm-hmm.
kill for that? I mean,
Well, he
oh,
obviously just didn't think much of women at all, did he?
probably not. No.
Wright is still being investigated in connection with other murders and disappearances. So, I mean, the police found 5 bodies, but that doesn't mean there was only 5 bodies.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. Susie Lamplug, she went missing in the early 1980s, and she
Oh.
was actually working on the same ocean liner. Remember, he worked on an ocean liner.
No.
They worked together on that ocean liner.
No.
She was last seen alive in 1986, but was legally declared dead in 94, and her body has never been found.
Yeah, and like I wonder in Thailand maybe did he.
Oh, I wonder in
Do you know,
Thailand.
like that could be hard to trace. Yeah, it's hard to know. Did he just go on a spree, or was there some over the years? To me, it does feel like the spree is when he started.
Mm-hmm.
The spree feels like it was his first time kill. He got a real buzz for it, like, and he has an addictive personality. He just couldn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a frenzy. Like once he'd done it, it was just like he couldn't get enough or something.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Right.
obviously just my take.
And that's it. The end.
Weird, weird man. Crazy. Like, I wonder if he spoke in prison at all. You know, if you're his roommate, I don't know, do we do roommates in the UK? Or do they have their own rooms?
Where in uni?
In prison, sorry, cellmate, I
I
should
think they
say.
have
Not roommate.
cellmates.
My room,
Roommate.
cellmate.
Roommate.
You know, like if like they would be frustrated as well. They'd be like, "Why don't you talk?" Like I would be so annoyed if I was around him and he's just quiet and weird. He sounds like one of those quiet guys, you know, and they do get away with a lot. Great, well done. That was a crazy one. See you on the next one, guys. Swan what? I always say that.
Swanawad, ma.
Oh my god. See you on the next one, guys. Slanawal, yeah.
Bye. You,
I
you
always say
stuttered.
it.
You
I
stuttered as well. You were like, see you in the next one. Swabba.
Me Time and Murder would like to thank and acknowledge our sources that make this podcast possible. References can be found on our Instagram page.